I would like to explain how to solve absolute value inequalities. In prior lessons, we have learned how to solve absolute value equations, which means that there was an equal sign in your problem. In these particular examples, you will see either a greater than or a less than symbol in your problem. First thing, make sure that you isolate your absolute value on the left-hand side as before. Then it depends on if your sign is greater than or if it's less than as to how you're going to solve. So as an example, I'm going to use absolute value of x is greater than 1. What does this actually mean? It means that I am more than 1 unit away from 0. So I want you to think, what values are actually 1 unit away from 0? Well, I could go 1 unit to the right, and anything bigger than that value would be more than 1 unit away from 0. I could also go to the left 1 unit, and anything smaller than that value would be more than 1 unit away from 0. And so in this case, our solution ends up being that x is less than -1 or x is greater than +1. And when we write that in interval notation, it would be -infinity to -1 parentheses union +1 to infinity. So we have a special rule when we're dealing with greater than, and it says if we have absolute value of x greater than a number, when that number is positive, then this particular expression is equivalent to x greater than the positive number or x less than the negative number. And the way I remember this is basically saying that you're looking for numbers and you're going away from these two values, the positive and the negative. Make yourself a note. The solution is going to be all real numbers if the number on the other side of the absolute value expression is negative after you isolate the absolute value. The reason for this is absolute value is defined to be a positive number. If you have absolute value greater than a negative number, this is going to be true all the time. And so watch for that one special instance. Now, if the sign is less than, we're going to do something totally different. And what I've done here is, for example, I have done absolute value of x less than or equal to 9. Think about what values that would be. This is basically saying I want numbers that are 9 or fewer units away from 0. Well, what numbers are 9 units away from 0? I could go 9 units to the right, or I could go 9 units to the left. And then, if I think about including all the numbers between those values, and notice here that the 9 and -9 are included with brackets because there's the bar underneath the absolute value, then any number in between -9 and 9 would be fewer than 9 units away from 0, and then the 9s and the -9 would be exactly 9 units away. And so on this one, our solution is this. It's basically any values that are between -9 and 9, and in interval notation it would be -9 to 9, including the endpoints. Make a note here that the solution is going to be no solution if the number on the other side is negative after you isolate the absolute value. By definition, absolute value must be a positive number, so it would be impossible for the absolute value of a number to be less than a negative number.